Hello, everyone. My name is Carlisle Field. I work at Shepson & Wiley Attorneys. I'm joined with my colleague from the Pension Law Department, Inyasha Vandemika, and in later episodes, our colleague Samantha Davidson. And today in this podcast, we're going to be talking about the two-pot system, which is going to take effect in South Africa quite soon. It's going to introduce a major change for retirement funds.
So when I joined the pension law department, I didn't know the different types of funds. Would you be able to explain this a bit more?
Sure. So, Inyasha, we'll talk about some of the main funds just briefly. First of all, you've got a retirement annuity fund. A retirement annuity fund is largely a private savings vehicle. So it's a retirement fund that you'll contribute to in your personal capacity. Maybe your employer doesn't have a retirement fund, or maybe they do and you'd just like to save additionally for retirement. So you go and enter into this fund and in your private capacity, and you can contribute your own amounts, or sometimes they allow you to transfer amounts in. And one of the key features about a retirement annuity fund, which is quite important for the two-pot system, is that at present, you cannot take your money out while you're still in employment. The only time that you can take your money out of a retirement annuity fund is when you reach retirement, which is usually from the age of 55 years. And even when you reach retirement, there's certain limits on what you can do with that money. So the current regime is that you're allowed to take out a maximum of 1/3 of your savings from a retirement annuity fund as a lump sum. Whatever you don't take out, which is at least 2/3 of it, you have to use to purchase an annuity, which means an annuity that will pay you a pension. And throughout today, we're going to talk about that as compulsory annuitization. It applies to various different funds, but that's the current structure of a retirement annuity fund in terms of when you can access your money before retirement and at retirement.
Okay, and what about pension and provident funds?
So pension and provident funds are probably more common than retirement annuity funds. To start with the pension fund, and there's various different types of pension funds. There are umbrella pension funds, there's standalone pension funds that employers contribute to. With a pension fund, the same compulsory annuitization rule applies that we spoke about for retirement annuity funds. So when you reach retirement, you can only access 1/3 of your benefits, and the remaining at least 2/3, whatever you don't take as a cash lump sum, must be used to purchase an annuity to provide a pension. The key difference, though, between the pension fund and the retirement annuity fund is that if you leave service of your employer before retirement, you can access the full amount as a lump sum at any age, even before the age of 55. A provident fund. So provident funds have actually been aligned since 2021 to be similar in structure to a pension fund. So how we just explained pension funds, where you can access your full amount on withdrawal from the fund before retirement, that applies to provident funds, and the compulsory annuitization rule that we've spoken about for retirement annuity funds and pension funds now applies to provident funds since 1 March 2021. That was known as T-Day, when compulsory annuitization was introduced for provident funds. Now, there is an exception to that called vested benefits. So when that came into effect, the rules that applied to your provident fund savings up to 1 March 2021, particularly the fact that you can take that as a lump sum on retirement, still continued to apply. So those are your vested rights in a provident fund. Everything you had saved up till that date, even on retirement, you can also take out the full value of those vested benefits as a lump sum. And to take that a step further, if you were over the age of 55 on 1 March 2021, then as long as you stayed a member of that provident fund, you could take out the full balance, even your savings, after 1 March 2021. But bar those exceptions, the same compulsory annuitization rule applies for provident funds in terms of what you can do with your retirement benefits. And like I said, when you exit service, you can take the full lump sum. And the two-pot system is going to apply to all of those funds. And it's going to introduce major changes for the amounts that you can take on those different events, be it withdrawal and on retirement, as we'll discuss in later episodes.
And will the two-pot system be applying to all these different funds as well?
So yes, it will apply to all of those funds that we've discussed and other types of funds. So preservation funds, it will also apply to. Even funds that aren't regulated in terms of the Pension Funds Act. So for example, government funds like the GEPF, the Government Employees Pension Fund, all of those funds the two-pot system will apply to. There are very limited exceptions for the funds that it won't apply to, such as a legacy retirement annuity fund, but by and large, all of the different funds, pension, provident, preservation, retirement annuity, the two-pot system will apply.